You want to do Cambly? Go for it.
Oi, pessoal! O dia de sorteio do Cambly está chegando. Você pode ainda hoje participar desse sorteio maravilhoso que vai dar 2 planos para 2 pessoas diferentes. Um plano é para adultos e o outro plano é para crianças. E o que são esses planos? São 2 planos de 1 mês, 5 vezes por semana, 30 minutos por dia, que você vai estar falando com um falante nativo de inglês pelo computador, pelo celular, onde você quiser fazer online. Lembrando que esse negócio de vergonha de falar com uma pessoa, você perde. Perde com costume. Você só ganha costume fazendo aula de inglês e falando com as pessoas da língua inglesa.
É um pouco mais difícil.
O quê?
Perdendo a vergonha é uma coisa difícil, é um processo igual de ler o anúncio do Cambly.
Igual a ler.
A ler. Porque tem negócio de crianças, de adultos, tem código. A gente só tem 1 minuto para falar tudo isso. É complicado, é um processo.
É um processo, mas como faz parte de um processo, eu tô aqui falando naturalmente sobre isso tudo porque eu já sei, porque eu já treinei, porque eu já estava lá, não é mesmo? Então vamos lá no cambly.com ou no aplicativo do Cambly se você quiser testar essa plataforma incrível, coloca o nosso código inglês no Podcast. Se você já quiser fazer parte desse sorteio, é só ir aqui nas nossas show notes, clicar no link e vai aparecer direto, tá bom? Now, on with the show!
Hey, Alexia.
Hey, Foster.
Welcome to the United States of America.
America.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Foster from English no Crew. I am here with the one, the only...
Alexia Souza, the way that I like to say my name.
Souza?
Souza.
Meu Deus.
They can say Souza.
Okie dokie. So, Alexia, you are in the United States.
Yes, I am, sir.
And let's just give a little bit of background information, background history about English no Crew Rádio. We have recorded episodes about everything. We ask our listeners, what do you like? Do you want to hear about phrasal verbs? Do you want to hear about prepositions? And do you know, after almost, 450 episodes, what are the most popular episodes?
The one that I get stuck in Atlanta airport.
Yes, I think, if I'm not mistaken, we have 3 episodes already about Alexia coming to the U.S. and all of the problems that she faces with immigration. And those are the most popular episodes by far. Not even close.
Yeah, that's really interesting because it's something that most of people are very worried about it when they travel to the United States, and they can see what happens in real life and not like in a show on Netflix or something else.
Yeah.
Because
can I give you a quick recommendation? Really quick. So I think people love these shows because they can really relate to your experience, and I'm going to exaggerate that by correcting your English a little bit. So I believe you said most of people or most of the people?
Most of people, I think. I don't know.
No, just most people.
Ai.
So if you want to say a maior parte das pessoas or a maioria, in English, we would normally say most people.
Or the majority.
Yeah, a little bit more formal, but honestly, in a normal conversation, I would say most people.
Okay. So let's start from the beginning, right?
Okay, go for it.
I left Portugal, last Wednesday. So it's a week already.
Yeah.
Or only if you think about it.
What a week. We will
What a
talk
week.
about this crazy week in an episode in the future.
Yeah. So it was my first daily flight.
Yeah. How do you say this in Portuguese?
Voo diurno.
Diurno.
Diurno e noturno. Diurno.
Yeah. So I don't believe we have a word for this in English. We probably do, but we don't use it commonly. So we would just say a flight during the day.
Yeah.
I believe.
It was my first one. And If you're listening to English no Rádio since the beginning, you already know that I'm super afraid of flying.
Yeah.
Being in an airplane is one of the most challenging experiences for me.
Mm-hmm. Can I give you 2 quick corrections?
Uh-huh.
First, you can say you have a fear of flying, which is unfortunate for you to have a boyfriend in the United States and you travel a lot.
The things that I do for love.
Absolutely. And secondly, I believe you said if you are listening to English no Rádio since the beginning.
From the beginning.
No.
No.
If you have been listening to English no Rádio.
Okay. If you have been listening to English no Rádio since the beginning.
Perfect, meu amor.
Yay.
Isso.
Yay. So, that's it. I was so worried about being in an airplane for almost 8 hours. And because I did like Porto, Lisbon, Boston, Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
That was my plan.
Right. Can I just... 2 things that I think are super interesting. First, the pronunciation of cities in the U.S. Boston. When you were saying Boston, you were saying ba, tipo Alexia, né? Boston. That's crazy. Also, Charlotte. Can you say that in Portuguese for me?
Charlotte.
Yes. It
Charlotte.
literally took me more or less a year to
Yeah.
understand what Alexia was saying when she was like, I don't know if I should go to Atlanta or Charlotte. And I was like, Atlanta, because the other city I've never heard of. And what was my other point? The cities in the U.S.? I think that's it.
Okay, so before flying to the United States, I started to search on the internet how was Boston airport for immigration situation.
Yeah.
And then I started reading that it has one of the largest Portuguese community there.
Yes, one of the largest Portuguese communities. And I imagine most people know this, but Alexia is a Brazilian, but she also has Portuguese citizenship.
Yeah.
So you have dual citizenship, right?
Yes. So this time, actually, I didn't bring my Brazilian passport with me for the first time.
Ooh, scandalous.
Yes, it is for me. It's like, okay, I'm only Portuguese right now. I don't need my Brazilian passport. And it was really, really weird. It was a weird feeling, to be honest.
I can't imagine traveling without my American passport.
Yeah.
That's a crazy idea for another episode, probably.
Yeah, and a week before, Foster traveled to the United States, and he was telling me that at his airport in
Philadelphia,
there was the machine
yes,
for my type of visa and the Canadian visa as well.
Do you know how we say this machine in English?
I have no idea.
It's funny because you have this word in Portuguese, but you don't really use it the same way. We would say that is a kiosk.
Is that a kiosk?
Yeah, quiosco.
Quiosque, no caso.
Kiosk. Yeah, a kiosk, an electronic place for you to scan your passport and do the immigration stuff you have to do.
Yeah. So I was really hoping that in Boston would have it as well because of this Portuguese community there.
Right.
Before going to the airport, I went to my therapist. I talked about it, all my concerns about flying during the day. And at the end, she was like, you can take something to take during the flight, right? And I'm like, yes, of course I can. I have it at home because I was really, really anxious.
Like medicine for flying?
Yes. I was really, really anxious. And there is a type of medicine in Brazil, I think here as well, it's called Dramin.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have it here?
Yeah, we call it Dramamine.
Yeah.
Dramamine.
And it
For
doesn't
diarrhea?
work. No.
Dramamine normally is if you're having diarrhea.
No, it's for like allergia and
Maybe I'm just having so much diarrhea that I don't know. But yeah, there is a medicine that is not specifically for making you go to sleep, but
Yeah,
it
to
helps
calm
you go
down.
to sleep. Yeah.
But that does nothing to me
Yeah, me either.
at all. So I was already packed, went to the airport, everything was fine, and there I was in the day flight
Mhm.
during the day, of course. And I forgot my medicine back home. So
Just diarrhea everywhere.
so I managed to get a Wi-Fi inside the airplane because Tapi airplane was amazing, the best one ever in every single way. I made a friend, an American friend, of course.
Ooh, an American friend. So just two things really quick, Alexia. First, TAP Portugal. You're referring to the Portuguese airline TAP. Which in
Transportes
Portuguese,
Aéreos Português.
yeah, you would say TAPI in
TAPI.
Portuguese.
TAP.
Secondly, just to remind listeners that don't know this, the first, I believe, 3 or 4 times that you went to the U.S., you arrived in Atlanta or Charlotte. Normally Atlanta.
I would have to stop in Atlanta either way.
Yes. So every experience you had in Atlanta was not fun, to say the least. You can listen to those episodes. We will put them in the show notes. But America just did not want to accept this sweet little girl sitting in front of me. But in Boston, what happened?
So I got to Boston. I started to walk, and I got there at 3 p.m., more or less, in the United States, of course, and it was empty and totally different from the morning arrivals, I think. And it was completely empty, so I started to walk, and then there was the machine. I was so happy about it. The kiosk was there, and there was a guy helping people out. And I scanned my passport. I had to answer all the questions like, are you bringing any guns to the United States? Are you bringing any food? Are you planning to stay over time? Do we have a return ticket? And it was like, no. And then they print your face.
Yeah, you take a picture. I think there's even the option just to say no to all questions. I don't read the questions. I just say no.
Yeah, because you're American, I had to read, and it was all in Portuguese, so no problem at all.
Cool.
Yeah, and then they give the machine gives you this paper. You had to bring it to an officer, and it's there when things get very confusing most of times.
Yeah. So just in general, we would use confusing as a verb. Like, that confuses me. But confusing, you're talking about the situation.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
Yeah. And then the guy said, next. I was there, said, hello, officer, good afternoon. He looked at me and said, how long are you staying in the United States? And then he asked, what was it? Wait, because why are you here? He was, why are you here? And I'm like, tourism and for 5 weddings. And he already had a stamp on his hand. He didn't even look at me. He gave me this stamp, gave me my passport, and said, have a good stay.
Mm-hmm.
And I started to look around to see if there were cameras or something happening around me, if there was only a pre-interview and then I had to pass through another one.
Someone hits a button and it's like,
yes.
nah. You are caught. You're arrested in the U.S. forever.
And then I started to smile as I walked to my bag, because I was like, is that easy? Is this what happens to every single person in the United States that are coming from Europe, maybe? Is this a thing from Brazil or from South America? I have no idea.
Every single person that is coming from the United States. And I don't know about every single person, but for me, that is the typical experience that I arrive back to the U.S. and they're just like, hey, what were you doing? Where were you? It's like, I was in Portugal. Okay, cool. And just stamp my passport.
Yeah, and then I grabbed my bag. When I was walking with my bag, 3 other officers, new ones, they were checking everyone again.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, that's it. That's when they asked me more things.
Did they ask you anything that was...
Why you're here? For how long? So many weddings, right?
So they
That's
were
it.
completely cool with you. They were not trying to implicate you in any international terrorist organizations.
Not at all. And my main point of this episode is that you don't have to be afraid of going to the United States. Yes, it sucks. It's very overwhelming. It can get you very exhausted. But it was fine. And I'm here. And I'm so happy about it.
Yeah, I think the best thing for the people listening to this show, if you have not listened to the episodes of Alexia's previous immigration adventures, listen to those and you can hear the worst possible thing that can happen to you. And then listen to this one again and you can recognize, the worst is not that bad. The best. Alexia's saying the worst is that bad.
Yes.
Okay, well, the worst thing that can happen is manageable. You will survive.
Yes, it is.
And the best is just kind of boring and you just pass through and you go to the U.S.
Thank God. I only want boring experiences.
Exactly. So I hope this episode was not boring for everyone listening. But Alexia, we are happy to have you back in the land of the free. Anything else you want to tell our listeners?
No, just come to the United States.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, come if you have the money and you're...
Amor, pelo amor de Deus.
That's another conversation for another episode. But for now, we will see you guys tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oi, pessoal! Muito obrigada por ter escutado mais um episódio do Inglês no Rádio. A gente fica muito, muito feliz quando vocês estão aqui conosco. E você que quer continuar recebendo novidades e recebendo recursos grátis, vai lá no nosso site, você vai encontrar tudo isso. Além disso, você vai saber quando que Sound School vai abrir para se tornar nosso aluno do melhor curso de inglês online que existe nesse mundão. Então é isso. Muito obrigada de novo por fazer parte da família Inglês no Rádio e te espero no próximo episódio.